All right, welcome back to the Monday Minutes on the Cashflow Connections podcast. Today, we're going to talk about some of the key takeaways from a book I recently read, which was The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox Cabane. This book basically debunks the myth that some people are born with charisma and some people are simply not. And the people that are not just need to accept the fact that they need to work in a lab somewhere and not interact with most people. Now, I will say that, of course, some people are born with charisma. But the overwhelming majority of those people that you think of when you think of the people in your lives or that are in television or politics or something like that, that seem overtly charismatic, they have spent a lot of time mastering that skill. They may have got a good head start, but they spent a ton of time mastering it. When I say mastering it, I'm talking about doing something, reviewing it, analyzing it, trying to make it better constantly for years and years and years and, 2,000 hours, 10,000 hours, etc. Now, also, there are some people that are not born with a lot of charisma, but I will say that the genetic limitations, the biological limitations on things like social interaction, like your ability to be a good friend, your ability to have a warm personality, the genetic limitations are basically inconsequential. The ceiling is basically completely lifted. Like people can go so far above and beyond what their normal personality is if they put energy toward it. I will say that there has been many moments in my career where I have needed to implement some of these strategies that we'll talk about in this book because I wasn't really confident. And that's really what this comes down to, being confident in your ability to communicate and being a warm person that's also, a strong person. So just a quick story. When I was at Freedom Fest, I was going to share the stage with Peter Schiff and Doug Casey and Gene Epstein, people that I have a lot of respect for. I had a moment where I was terrified. We watched a movie beforehand. I had to excuse myself in the movie and give myself a lot of affirmations and kind of a verbal and mental pump up in order to go out there and deliver this short, 5-minute bullet point that I had to go over. And I did, but I'm talking about I literally had to excuse myself, give myself the affirmation, affirm to myself why I was asked to be there, affirm to myself that the content that I was going to talk about was interesting and unique. And just saying that out loud, saying out loud that people were interested in what I had to say, gave me that confidence. So that's one of the takeaways that they talk about. I'll tell you something else. A lot of this does come down to insecurity, for sure, but also people can read your face, but they cannot read your mind. So if you're in a meeting with someone and you have an uncomfortable look on your face, they don't know what it is about, but they know that you're uncomfortable. So they assume that it's about them. They always do. And I actually do a lot of my networking over the internet. As you guys know, I have a podcast. That's a big portion of our marketing, but it's also a great way for me to network. I don't do a lot of in-person networking events. And when I do them, I find that they don't produce as much. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm slightly uncomfortable. I don't know what to talk about, especially if I realize quickly that there's not a lot of crossover between what I do with the person and a networking event. I get stuck and there's a little bit of an awkward moment. Well, similarly to the fact that they always assume it's about them, one of the things that they talk about in this book that's helped me tremendously in these in-person networking events is, let's say you have to go to the bathroom. Let's say you're really hungry. Let's say it's too hot in the restaurant that you're meeting in. You have that uncomfortable look on your face. If you can just take a second and stop and think about something really nice that you like about the person you're meeting with, that can be a really powerful mental shift that will completely relax your face, and you'll see that they will respond to it very quickly. So for example, if you're meeting up with someone because you're going to talk about real estate, just think for a second, wow, it's really incredible that this person has gone completely out of their way to learn about finances, to most likely take money away from a financial advisor to put it in their control so that they can invest in unique asset classes that you also enjoy. What an interesting thing you guys have in common. And just that quick thought will relax your face. It will relax your energy, and they will respond to that. Again, because they don't know what's in your mind. They can read your face, but they always assume it's about them. So that one trick right there has helped me tremendously. Just keep in mind, anytime that someone comes off as overtly cold, it's usually a matter of insecurity. So you want to help them by making them feel confident, and that will make the conversation go much easier. One of the ways to do that is by doing that little trick there, combination between that and affirmations. I'm a huge proponent of both of those. So hopefully you can be helped out by those tricks because I know it's helped me. Now we'll talk about a last trick, which is a bonus trick because it's not talked about in the book. It's something that I won't say I made it up, but I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but I think it's actually really, really important. So you frequently hear people talking about effective visualization. And especially before you're giving a speech or something like that, you're going into a big meeting. It's important to visualize the meeting going well, visualize yourself executing appropriately, then visualize the celebration after. And then as you're doing it, you're kind of going through that visualization at the very last minute as well. And once you do it, you've been there a million times. I think that's perfectly reasonable and definitely helpful for a lot of people. But I will say that something that's not talked about ever, but I think is really important, is visualizing things going wrong and visualizing you overcoming that adversity. Because that, for me, is by far more important to be prepared for. So I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say that you're giving a speech. You need to visually imagine a situation in which you get up there and the microphone doesn't work and you can't hear yourself talk and there's no one in the audience or there's too many people in the audience or it's way too hot. Those types of things, for me, that's what I need to prepare for. So that when I get up there and my computer doesn't work and I can't plug in the USB and I got the wrong converter and I don't know what to do, I'm like, I've been here 100 times. And you can make a joke about it and you know who to talk to and you know mentally where you need to go to be able to prepare for that so you can regain your confidence so you can present in a way that will come off as warm and powerful. So maybe Tim Ferriss kind of talks about something like that. It's called fear setting. This is a little bit different because you're actually trying to mentally prepare for yourself overcoming that adversity. I imagine that it's very common in the mixed martial arts world, not so much in the speech world. But look, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for you. Don't forget, if you're interested in checking out some of the other books that I really like, you can go to cfcmentorshipprogram.com/books, and an awesome list is there for you. All right, hope you enjoyed these Monday Minutes. Have a great day. All right, listeners, you know the routine. This show is all about learning, making wise investments, and protecting and growing your capital. So if you're interested in these topics, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Of course, if you've already enjoyed a couple of great episodes, don't be shy. Leave a review. It really helps the show's visibility. And lastly, if you're an accredited investor and you're interested in learning more about our investment opportunities, the types of deals that I personally invest in, go to asymcapital.com. That's ASYMcapital.com. Thanks a lot.